Okay, hey everybody, it's Tuesday, March 11th. You're here at the weekly CHAOSS community call. Really happy to see everybody here. I hope you're all having a great week so far. As Sal said, it's only Tuesday, so what could go wrong? A lot. But hopefully not too much for y'all. Let me share the screen. If my internet's still being weird, so if I start to get choppy on my video, I'm gonna just shut it down. So don't take it personally, is what I'm saying. If you have not added your name to the agenda and you want to do so, please feel free to do that. If you don't want to answer the question, that's also valid. You don't have to. I'm just always curious about stuff. So yeah. And if somebody can or collect of newcomers in the Slack, if they or Slack, geez, Zoom, where are we? Here we are. I think I'm frozen here. Hold on. Yeah, I'm just gonna turn this video off until I can sort this out. Mute my stop video. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I would appreciate somebody just dropping those minutes in the chat for whoever needs that. Would be great. Okay. So first thing on the agenda really quick, I just wanted to give a quick update since we did have a booth at Scale over the weekend, which is always a good conference. We had about 70 people enter, not about, we had exactly 70 people enter our raffle. Of course, you know how it goes. You talk to a whole lot more people than that, but yeah, most people have not heard of CHAOSS, so that was the point of us being there, is to share the project with people. A lot of people sounded super interesting. I know we did get some new folks into our Slack from the conference, so welcome them if you see them around. And yeah, I thought this was also curious. Like when we have this raffle, we ask like 3 questions, and it's mostly just about metrics. We don't do anything really with this information. It's just out of our own curiosity. So just thought this was curious that, again, people really don't know how to measure stuff, and either they don't know at all, or they know and maybe they aren't sure how to, aren't sure what to do with it all the time. So that's kind of interesting. A few people are using GitHub or GitLab. So yeah, there you go. I saw Georg, which is amazing.
Is that second question still, I wouldn't know a metric if it sat on me?
If it sat on us, yeah. People always laugh at that. And we didn't even, that came from like another attendee. Do you remember that, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
An attendee at another conference, like that was his comment. And we were like, yes, we're stealing that comment because that's just hilarious. So yeah, thank you to random attendee at some conference that made us all laugh. Now literally everyone laughs at that. So open sourcing our humor to the world. Yeah, anybody have questions about Scale?
Who's the audience primarily at Scale?
I would say mostly technologists. So a lot of like the talks are like pretty technical in nature. So a lot of I think I had another question that I did not put here. Most people were open source contributors or
Okay.
maintainers. That's like kind of the vibe there.
Okay.
Georg, would you agree with that?
Yeah, the a lot of the conversations went really deep on specifics on technology, and people were very knowledgeable. They're also, because it's a relatively inexpensive ticket to get in, there are also a lot of students that are interested in just learning more and being interested. So it's a good mix of people.
Yeah, it's for those who don't know, it stands for Southern California Linux Expo, I think is the what Scale stands for. So it's yeah, a lot of open source projects, not so much company representation, but yeah, really interesting.
Okay, thanks.
And as always, people seem super interested in the concept of chaos and what we're working on, and they seem very appreciative of the fact that, we're kind of focusing on health and sustainability in open source. So it's always good to have that confirmation that what we do is valuable. So yay, go us. Okay, any final questions before we go on to Ruth? Okay. Totally putting Ruth on the spot here. No, I actually did ping her on Slack first and asked her, so not super on the spot, but a little bit. Because it was like 10 minutes ago. So it was maybe a little longer, but yeah. Anyway, Ruth, do you want to give some updates on what Chaos Africa's been up to?
Yeah, sure. I could give some minor updates because like I have also been away. But yeah, last week I was at a conference in Namibia, PyCon Namibia, the Python conference, and Chaos Africa had a booth. We've been part of the conference in previous years. I was able to share the education projects because some people were curious about like open source. So that was like I did like a QR code that people could scan and learn more about open source. So it was able to share some swags. But I think following up is maybe doing a larger collaboration with the Python community there and seeing how we could keep sharing the courses to people that are interested in learning more about open source and also about chaos as well. We got a few people that joined the community and then we're curious. And then that's about the conference. Then the other focus groups in chaos, I know the research group is working with the data science on some of the projects too as well. So some cross collaboration is happening as well. Yeah, I think those are the updates that I'm familiar with right now because like I'm still trying to catch up on things after being away for a couple of conferences.
Hey Ruth, I was wondering, how is the stuff that Samson's doing with Oscar? How's that going too?
Yes, true. Yes, so this year there'll be like the conference in August. CHAOSScon Africa should happen as well. One thing we've been thinking of is, so there are two options if we wanted to collocate, like have a separate, like the way we did the last time, or embed it within Oscar where we just handle like the community room, similar to how PostDem is run. So we have either of those options. But yes, the Open Source Festival will happen this year. It didn't happen last year because of funding. So, but this year it would happen, although funding is also another big issue. But yeah, we're planning to have it in August. And then CHAOSScon will happen either co-located or embedded within the festival itself.
Okay. And are you looking for funding? Something just happened to your screen, Elizabeth. It went.
Yeah, I think she said it was going to go blank out.
Having some
Oh,
trouble
Yeah,
with the internets earlier, so
okay.
it manifested themselves once again.
back.
Are
Yeah,
you,
Sorry about that.
sorry, Elizabeth. So for the CHAOSScon, yes, we'll definitely need funding for like CHAOSScon to host CHAOSScon. But if we do it within the festival, we spend less because then we get a room.
okay.
Yeah, but
And
they're still like
where is it?
it's in Lagos. It's still be
Okay.
Lagos.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. I have maybe some thoughts I could ping you.
Okay, sure. Thank you. But
Yep.
yeah, I will. Well, once we decide on what we will do, if we're co-locating, I'll definitely come back to this group. But that's just like early news, so.
Okay.
And then Ruth, whenever you have dates and all of the info, just let me know and I'll put it up on the website, okay?
Yep, sure.
Are you all doing a CFP or are you,
Yeah.
how are you doing that?
Yeah, we will do a CFP if like it's outside of it. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, cool. So as soon as you want to share anything else about that CFP or anything, just let us know. We'll add it to this agenda here.
Yep, sure I will.
Awesome. Awesome possum. Any other questions about any of the stuff CHAOSS Africa is working on? Or anything to add from anybody else who's doing some work on that side?
Oh yeah, I think there's one more thing, maybe if Harmony wants to add, but we're looking to, so there's this sprint we want to work on with Abigail. I think you know Abigail, Elizabeth.
I do.
One, Yeah, the one in University of Cincinnati. She's doing a sprint to kind of document African contributors on Wikipedia. So the technical writers focus group is trying to also collaborate there. I'll share a link. So it's going to happen in April. Let me share the link. Hold on.
Matt
So-
just shared a link. I don't know if that's
Oh no, that was just the minutes.
oh. Sorry. The timing was impeccable.
Right. So good. Let me share the link. I'm grabbing it real quick. Okay, where's the Zoom?
Well, maybe I'll reach out to Abigail and
this-
see how we can support that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we're kind of looking to collaborate. It's just mostly to document and amplify the work that some open source contributors here are doing on Wikipedia, just having a page. So
Do you know if she's maybe this is a question for her, but do you know if she's doing anything local here in Cincinnati? Or is it going to be all
yeah, it's going to be virtual. It's going to be mostly virtual sprints. I think I had the conversation with her if maybe one of those days we could do an in-person one, but maybe somewhere if some group of people want to.
Okay, cool. Oh, that's exciting. I feel like I did see something in passing on LinkedIn about that, but I didn't clock that's what that was. So thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I think we should really just fly everyone to Cincinnati so I can personally meet everyone and help them. Just kidding. Nobody ever comes to Cincinnati except for Matt's coming this week, so yay. I'll do my best to, yeah. I mean, Abigail's here already, so just makes sense, right? Okay, any final thoughts about Chaos Africa? Questions, comments, anything? Yeah, thanks, Ruth. Thanks for doing that. Appreciate the updates. Good stuff. Do you have enough swag, by the way? Do we need to send you anything?
So the stickers, so like I took the stickers, but I couldn't get so I wanted to do that whole earring thing, but I couldn't get the pliers and stuff. So, but yeah,
Oh.
I exhausted the whole stickers when I went. So yeah, it was nice.
Will you
Yeah,
be, do you think you'll be coming out to OSS North America?
yeah, I plan to.
Okay. I will then, I'll just order, is it okay if I just order a bunch of stickers, like extra for you? Is that cool?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
I'm just gonna add a little note to myself. Order stickers to give to Ruth. Okay. I'll just order a bunch. We can also order some pliers for you, some jewelry tools.
Yeah, like I don't know, like I'm trying to see where I can get the small pliers, like, but I think I'll figure it out. But if I don't, I
Okay.
can just look for a link to the Amazon thing.
Okay, fair enough. For those who don't know what we're talking about, at CHAOSScon, Dawn had printed off some 3D earrings and bracelets and necklace of our logo and the chaotic little graphic there. So that was part of our CHAOSScon social event, is we were making jewelry and bracelets, keychains, stuff for people. So that's what we're talking about. If you don't know why we're talking about jewelry making in the middle of our meeting here, that's why. And it was great, and people really loved that. So that was really fun. I hope we do that again. Okay, if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and move on. I put this in here. Oh, hey, look, Sal has hers right there. That's great. That's great. If you, I just put this in here for Dawn. If you have a minute and you would like to add some feedback in this practitioner guide that's being worked on, that would be greatly appreciated. Here it is. It's pretty far along, so there's a lot in here, but yeah, feedback would be greatly appreciated.
So just for
So
folks on this call, yeah, I've provided feedback on those pretty often. It's really nice to provide that feedback, just like from a narrative perspective. It doesn't have to be super technical, just like how well a paragraph reads or how well a concept is introduced or something like that. I don't even think that even if you just have comments and not necessarily edits, I think that's appreciated as well. Like I don't understand this sentence is an okay thing to say.
Yeah, that's a great point, Matt. Thanks for clarifying that you do not have to be an expert by any means to read through that. Make sure that it reads okay and that it is understandable. That makes sense. Okay, I'll move on since I don't think Dawn is here. I don't see Dawn anywhere. Okay.
Is she traveling? Is
Yeah,
she-
boss backstage today.
Yeah, right. Which is why she was not a scale. So yes. Several people were looking for her at scale, so I had to, yes, be her proxy. I did not do a good job of it.
And today's the second and last day of boss backstage.
They just don't line up real well to do
Nope.
both.
Nope. Unfortunate. But it is what it is. I guess they're figuring there's probably not a ton of crossover since they're at like opposite ends of the world, but turns out there is. All right, let's go ahead and give Sal a chance to give us a quick update on what's going on with this project, because it's super interesting. So we'd love to hear
Yes.
what's going on.
Yeah, so I will say I have had very limited time on this project, and I've got 2 keynotes in the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to have limited time on this, but it doesn't take much to get these done. What I've done so far is go ahead and scrape through all of the URLs that were provided by the Apache Software Foundation. They gave us their each version of their state of projects, and we're trying to combine those all together. It was naive of me to think that all of those would be in the same JSON formats. They were not. And now it doesn't matter because we've got a fully recursive way that goes through them. So where that's sitting right now is I've got a data frame that's sitting in a JSON file and a CSV that's available. However, I have not fully uploaded those. I need to sign them off on GitHub so that you can see them on GitHub, but I'm going to hold off on those for about 1 more week. I'm hoping by next Monday, just through this weekend. I want to go and pull in some of the Eclipse data that we have and see if I can get that script to work across at least 2 foundations. And if I can get it to interop with those, then we should be able to have a really nice single script that everyone can run, bring in CNCF and OpenSSF as we bring them in. But you should just be able to do a force update on that, and it should read out a brand new data frame with any new or updated information from all of these URLs. So I'm trying to make it a single pass. It is currently working for all of the Apache software data that we have. So I will get that up on GitHub. I did just stick the files into our working group Slack. It's probably a better process that I could use to communicate with this group. Yeah, that's about where that stands right now. In about a week, we should have at least 2 foundations together, and it shows us exactly the information that we still need to get from them, either for a specific project. Some of them are missing data, or some of them are missing at what state did they become retired. That kind of information is not available. We just have the state, not the timestamp. So it is coming together. It's a lot of fun to try to recurse across many different formats. But yeah, that's about where that stands right now. If anyone has or wants to get API and GitHub query experience, I will be making the next file that I upload, the next Python script. I'm going to make that as descriptive as possible so that you can use it as a learning document for understanding exactly what and why and how we're taking each step, and it should pull it out in your command line. And then you should be able to check the steps yourself. It doesn't have any funny dependencies or anything, so I'm using that as a good learning opportunity. And before I bring it back to CHAOSS, I'll take it back to Gadfly and have all of my junior engineers make sure that they understand it. So it should be like very well communicated, because they do not hesitate to let me know when I have made a script that doesn't make sense. So yeah, that's where that stands right now. Successfully, we have all the data that we have been given by Apache Software Foundation. I've got a couple of URLs from the Eclipse Foundation that I will go ahead and bring in. And by like end of next week, I'm going to say, I'm going to try to get you a like full script that runs and is very descriptive for those. And I will fully sign off on GitHub. But I'm working between two GitHub accounts right now for two different security projects, and it's getting very frustrating to try to have the right signing. So all of that will be available. The next steps for that, as soon as we have at least two foundations projects sitting in that by the end of next week, that's something that you can go in and play with. If you want to just put it straight up in an Excel file, the CSV will do that. You can use matplotlib. You can use anything that you want to start playing with this. And I'm going to suggest that we keep those all sitting in that same file system. So once we get to the like descriptive statistics phase, I'm happy to sit down and like peer code with anyone if they want experience in like just thinking out and like speaking out a hypothesis. And then I would go through how exactly we would go and capture that hypothesis and how we generate the data for it. So we're getting to fun steps there, but we're about 2 weeks away from data visualizations, but no blockers, which is great.
Amazing.
I will
Thank
say
you.
it has been very fun because I have not done this type of just like going and looking at like scraping for about 7 years. And I had to go remind myself that I don't remember any of that. So I have relearned quite a lot, which was a good experience for me. So glad to be done with that phase.
This is super cool. So I have a few questions, just kind of in terms of so the idea here is, from what I'm understanding, is projects that have strong corporate involvement that have moved into the foundation. So there's some determination of that corporate level of corporate engagement, I'm guessing, or were these pre-identified as formerly corporate projects?
So it depends on the foundation, really. So if it's like a Linux Foundation project, 100% of the time, that's going to be the profile. Eclipse Foundation, not always.
Okay.
But yeah, we are looking at the behavior of the communities pre
Mhm.
and post instantiation into stewardship or foundation.
Yep.
There is some anecdotal and descriptive evidence that shows us that you see like greater variation of community contribution after it joins a foundation, which is a good health step that we want to see. So yeah, there's a lot of really, really interesting stuff that we can really, really dive into as soon as we clarify exactly what that timeline is for them. But I do believe because these foundations typically have not, I mean, we've never done this type of analysis before, that data just doesn't happen to be sitting all in one place.
Okay.
So that's why, as I'm thinking through the pipeline for this, I want this to be something that you can just do a force update on and that we can run every 6 months and capture any new projects that come in with all of the data that we have available.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then when you were talking about like hypothesis development, is it like what questions that you would want to ask on this pre and post? Is that like that's
Yeah.
the green field there? Is that
Yeah, so the greenfield that is absolutely open right now is anything that's available from the URLs that they provided us. So we have the projects, when they were instantiated, what like level of incubation they were in, and for what time period. We need to concatenate those. It's a little bit challenging. It's that kind of level of detail I'm still working on. But I'm
okay?
trying to give the sort of the lifeline story of incubation onward.
Mhm.
And then we want to use things like Grimoire to go through and look at the community statistics and bring those together.
Like pre
If
and post.
they're, yeah, so we can get pretty interesting descriptive statistics out of that and some correlations. But this is a really good and interesting time if we want to go back to the stewards and say there is a hypothesis for which we still don't have data. How would you help us find it?
Okay.
that would be, we're at a very good stage there to throw down some interesting hypotheses. I'll
Mhm.
see if I can test them, and if we can't, I will go ask for the data.
Okay. And so with the data set in terms of like the projects, the corporate projects that were not in a foundation, now in a foundation, that is the data set that is being made publicly available at the outset. Is that right?
Yes, yeah,
Cool.
and so far we have all the projects from Apache Software Foundation, and I believe we have, I haven't scraped it yet, but I believe we have all the projects from the Eclipse Foundation. If we don't, I'll go ask for them.
Okay.
Um, and then we're, I believe, capturing CNCF and OpenSSF as well. And those are
Okay.
all going to have very different like lifeline signatures because those stewards handle them very differently.
Okay. Part of the reason I'm like asking what is being made available as like as a day job as a professor here, like there are probably a number of people who maybe aren't on this call or like as part of the data science working group that would have an interest in this data as well. So I don't know
Hmm.
what scope you like is like the more the merrier kind of thing or
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I'll speak for Don on this, but that is exactly what we need. I think more eyes on this than less would be great. Right
okay.
now, we're at a little bit of a bottleneck in just getting all of the data into the same format out of all these different stewards. So that's the basic thing that I'm getting us to. And then there should be a workable CSV and JSON format for anyone to play with this data.
Okay.
And it will be completely openly available. So I'd love to have them join in.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely keep a lookout for when those two things are available and you're kind of comfortable with having a much larger group of people potentially look at them. So that'd be very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and I will say, like, as soon as it gets into that CSV format, they need basic statistic skills,
Yep.
nothing advanced. So
Okay.
perfect opportunity to jump in.
Okay, very cool. Thank you.
What other questions, comments, etc. do we have for Sal? Amazing, amazing stuff. I'm super excited about this project.
We're making the data that we pull for this uh available in our GitHub repos, is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Does it
Yeah.
uh does it match with our data policy, CHAOSS data policy? Or are we aligned with the CHAOSS data policy for this?
That's an excellent question.
I think the
That,
principal requirement would be the removal of user identifiable information or personally identifiable information
oh,
to the user.
yes. Yeah. The only data that's being pulled in is from what's openly available from the static URLs that the stewards have provided us. So these are just like JSON formats describing the project, the date of initiation. It's all project level, so there is no PII in it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Double check, but I think that's one of our principal concerns.
Yeah, one of the things that I will do as I throw this up in a way that should be easier to play with, I will go through and link back to this data policy and just make a note of everything that we have ensured is not a violation of, which is just a good practice. So that'll be good for me to do.
Excellent. Sounds awesome. Thanks so much, Sal. Appreciate that update very much. And if people want to get involved with this project, should they just drop a note in the data science channel? Or what would be the best way to include people?
Yeah, so right now I've just put a comment out on the data science working group Slack on sort of my status and the files that you can look at because I don't have them fully up yet. But I believe, if I'm correct, I missed the actual data science working group call just before this.
You did.
Yeah, thank you, Daylight Saving. Sorry.
That is the call that you would want to jump on to really dive into it, where I'll like open my screen and show you how it all runs. But like my real goal here is to put this into a format where like quite literally the persona that I'm developing the documentation for is like a first year student who has or has not taken a statistics class yet, and have it be simple enough that they can go and like look at correlational analyses and stuff like that and play with it as an experience.
It's very
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Thank you.
fantastic. All right. Any final comments before we kind of just wrap up? We just have some reminders and stuff, so nothing big. Okay. Thanks again, Sal. This is awesome. Okay, so the next thing on our agenda, we just wanted to point people to the latest CHAOSS cast, which is about Gamora Lab and Thunderbird, little collaboration there. So if you have not heard that, definitely check that out. 34 minutes. You can do double time if you want to. I have not listened to it yet, but it looks super interesting. And is there anything else anybody wants to add before we kind of just do our final reminders? We got space. We got 13 minutes.
I'm just gonna put a call out there. So I'm giving a keynote on the 21st in Florence to a good open source, like very true open source conference. I will put a call out there just to bring in some awareness around CHAOSS and bring some more contributors in my time zone for when I get stuck on my code.
What conference is it?
Do you have a, oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll share a link. It's literally called opensourceday.dev.
All right.
Here, I'll
Sounds
put a
good.
link
All right.
in the chat and on the in the notes.
Yeah, we can also add that to like our reminders of upcoming stuff. So we'll do that for sure. Do you know, Sal, do you know what day that's happening off the top of your head?
The 21st.
Awesome. Okay, so if you have not heard us mention this before, we are doing a CHAOSScon after Open Source Summit North America as part of the co-located events there. So you will need to have a registration to OSSNA, and then CHAOSScon is an add-on for $10. But yeah, highly recommend if you are able to maintain your level of brain energy past the conference. We would love if you would join us at CHAOSScon. We promise it'll be fun and entertaining and informative. We won't tax you too much, we promise. So save that date. We don't have a schedule out yet, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know. There's also an Open Source Summit EU. Linux Foundation puts on amazing events if you've never attended one. They're really great. Some of them, I'm not sure about OSS Summit EU, but I know Open Source Summit North America provides things like childcare. Just they really try to do what they can to make sure people can attend if possible. So if you are thinking about it, I mean, this is Amsterdam, who doesn't want to go there, right? They do have some scholarships, some travel funding you can apply for. They just do a fantastic job. So A+ recommend. If you're able to attend, you should do so. And then finally, All Things Open, which is another great conference here in the United States, is open. The CFP is open until March 28th. And I think the dates of that conference are in October. I'm not sure what those dates are, but I guess we could look
Usually
if
the
you're
end of
interested.
October, I think.
Yeah, 12th to 14th in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Never
Year
mind.
number 13. So it's always a great conference. Good mix of technology, corporations. There's usually a community day / diversity inclusion day the day before. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good place to be.
It's a good one. I do, just on this call, for anyone who has not considered it, really, do go for all of these conferences. All Things Open is free, I believe, if I recall correctly, or it's like £90. But For the OSS or any of those like more corporate leaning ones, just go and send that scholarship email. Go and send it today. You'll get it 100%. You'll get it. So yeah, don't even think about it. Do it.
Act now. Operators are standing by.
And they do provide support for visas for those who might need them. There is some documentation here on how to make that happen. So so yeah, they really do all they can to get you there, which is definitely appreciated. And I'm not just saying that because we're a Linux Foundation project. I mean, I know I am a little biased, but they are pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they also have really, really good resources. If it's like your first or one of your first conferences, they're going to have like first timers breakfasts and all these opportunities, and like use up every second and every like opportunity they have there, because you cannot network better than those events. And just that scholarship gets you a lot of places. I've used it. Just go do it. The emails are easy and they get back to you so quickly every time. It's one of the least stressful things you'll ever do. So just go get used to asking for freebies and get yourself on the scene.
And if you are thinking of going to the North America, we will have a CHAOSS booth there. So if you want to also have some experience in what it means to kind of work a booth and talk to people about CHAOSS, that would be great. That would be great. And you don't have to be an expert in CHAOSS. You can just sit and hang out and even listen to the different ways that we all kind of explain what CHAOSS is that's like kind of an interesting observation as well. My spiel is different than everybody else's, and so you will have a unique perspective of CHAOSS that you can share with people. So that's also an opportunity that you can do if you want. All right, and then just to wrap up finally, just a final reminder to double check calendars the next few weeks. Daylight savings, of course, messes everything up. So just take a look at the calendars. Yeah, and if you miss one, that's okay. We record everything. So we'll put it out on YouTube. I am a little bit behind on those because I was traveling, but I hope to get caught up today, tomorrow. So just keep an eye out. I usually post in the Slack when those recordings are available. So, oh, and then Sal has a final comment in here for ATO. Even if you don't get a talk formally accepted, they do a morning where people can give any talk they want informally, just writing it up on a timetable or a board. Yeah, great place to give your first talk, 100%. Yes. Agreed. And they're so friendly there. They're really nice. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. I think we're about finished. Anybody have any final last things they didn't get a chance to talk about? It's your last call. Speak now, forever hold your peace. So they say. All right, well, thank you again, everybody. It was really great to see you all. Yeah, we'll see you here next week, same time, same place. So have a good one.